and today I'm going to be doing a Reader's Problems book tag. So I've been tagged by the hyped Hyperpuff, and I'll link her video down below. I have trouble finding the original video, so I couldn't find it. So yeah, I couldn't find it, as I should say. And the point of this book tag is as readers talk about some of the problems that we have. So let's get to the tag. So I have the questions right here from another booktuber's video of the book tag. So the first question is, you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? It all depends on my mood. Sometimes I read a chapter of each book's on my TBR pile that I'll be reading in that month, and I see which one grabs my interest more. And sometimes it all depends on my... It always depends on my mood, mostly, just because I'm usually not sure what I'm in the mood for unless I saw a book that grabs my interest a lot. So that's definitely what I do. But mostly I try to read the first chapter of each book on my TBR pile for that month and see which one grabs my interest more. But mostly it's just all depends on my mood. So the next question is, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? It all depends on the book. Like, if there's like a popular book that people are like, it gets better as you go along, that's the only time I would do that. But mostly I'm just, depending on the book, I quit or try to go through it as much as I can to see if I'll enjoy it more if it gets better. But most of the time I do quit, but I'm mostly like 50-50 on this question. The next question is, the end of a year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? Mostly I try to catch up, but the only way for me I would catch up is I read a short book, like a comic book or like maybe a graphic novel, because I've read like a lot of comics and graphic novels last year, so I'm proud of myself for that. And those are like out of my comfort zone, so that helps me a lot to catch up on my reading challenge on Goodreads. And also, I don't want to... There's one thing that I've tried that I did last month, and like from October to December, I forced myself to finish a book just because I could do a wrap-up video. Because I always try to do a wrap-up video where I've read at least 4 books, but there were some of the times that I only read like maybe 2 or 3, and I just felt bad. So I'm trying not to do my do that to myself this year, just because I hate doing that. The next question is, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? I try to cope as much as I can. Like some book covers that like they do a change, like an anniversary thing or something, I end up liking the new covers more. But sometimes I like the old cover, like for which book I'm thinking of right now that did a cover change recently. Seafire. I'm trying to look for Seafire on my shelf. Oh, there it is. Right there. I love the old cover more, and I don't understand why they had to do a cover change for the sequel, and I try my best to cope with that because I hate when book covers don't match, and I don't understand how some publishers do a cover change just because the symbol covers don't sell a lot. I do like books with symbols on them, and yet I think Bloodleaf did the same thing with their sequel, and I'm like, I'm excited about the sequel, but I'm not liking the cover, so I'm like trying to tell myself to deal with it. And if you like the book so much, just continue with the series because you like it, not just because it has a bad cover. That's why I'm trying to, that's how I can explain this situation right now. So the next question is, everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? I share that with my mom a lot, and she understands that I don't have like that I have certain reading taste, especially with adult romance. I mostly like clean adult romance, and of course, you guys know that I read the After book last year, and I have a love and hate relationship with that, and my grandma's trying to encourage me to read the sequel because she's like, it gets better, but how am I supposed to know that? It's like I'm not trusting my grandma or anything. It's just, it's weird how she's encouraging me to read a sequel to a book that I have a love and hate relationship with, and it's a 3-star book for me. So yeah, very hard to cope with that, but my mom really understands that I don't have the same reading taste as my grandma. Like, I like adult romance books, but I only like clean, adult books, if that makes any sense. I feel like it doesn't at the moment. And the next question is, you're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal with that? I hardly read in public just because I don't like crying in public, just because I get I get reactions where people are like, oh, are you okay? Or I'll be like, why the heck is she crying? There's no reason to cry right now. That's just me. I don't like reading in public. The only time I would read in public is if I'm listening to an audiobook, and I hardly cry over an audiobook, but I almost cried when I read Legendary, but I did not listen to that in public, and I just missed the character so much. That was the part that I close to being crying, but I hardly cry in public. I just only when I listen to an audiobook, but I hardly cried in public. So that's my answer to that question. The next question is, a sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry in frustration? Mostly, I just, like, if I wanted to, I would reread it just because I want to reread it, not because I forgot about it. Like, last year I reread Geekarella just because I wanted to read it again, not because I forgot about it. I did not forget about it, I just wanted to reread it. But if I did forget what happens in the book, like if I listen to it on an audiobook or something like that, I most likely just read the sequel just because it might remind me of what happened in the first book, and I'll be like, did that really happen? Or be like, oh, that's what happened. That's usually what happens for me with sequels, but some series like Dawn of the Pirate King or Carnival, I didn't forget what happens in the first book, but I've just, like how in some sequels of series reminded readers what happened in the first book, so I mostly read the sequel just because I want to read the sequel, so I don't reread the first book unless I really want to. The next question is a very good question for me. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people nope when they ask? The only time I have people borrow my books is mostly my sister, my mom, or my grandma, just because I trust them more, and or Kevin, my boyfriend, I would trust those 4 people to borrow my books and return them, but there's a lot of times that I don't let anybody borrow my books just because I'm afraid that they're going to destroy them, for one, and 2, it mostly would, I'm afraid it'll come damaged. Like, it was perfectly fine when I gave it to him, and then after it was all damaged, so that's my answer. I just mostly tell other people out of the 4 people that I just mentioned that are not my mom, my sister, my grandma, and Kevin, I would tell those people no just because I don't trust them. The next question is also another good question for me. Reading ad. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I mostly just pick up a contemporary book because I know they're quick and easy. They help me get over reading slump. Also, I read a short book that's on my TBR. That's another way that I get out of the reading slump. And what else? And I also reread a book that I love that helps me get out of a reading slump too. So those are the 3 things that I have that helps me get out of the reading slump. And the next question is, there are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? It all depends on the book and the prices. I mostly buy my books online just because they're cheaper online, so it all depends on their prices and whether I want to read them immediately or not. That's mostly my situation. I mostly just read books, buy new books when I really want to get to them immediately, or depending on the price that they are online. And the last question is, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? It all depends on whether I want to read them immediately or I should wait to read them just because I have other books on my TBR that I haven't read yet. So it's mostly if I'm in the mood it's only if I'm in the mood to read them immediately, or they might be sitting on my shelves for between a couple of months or like to a year or two, and of course 2 years, over a year would be gone too far, so that's why I'm hoping to get to some of the books that I haven't read yet that has been on my shelves the longest, and trying to read the newly released book that I haven't read, like I said I would read immediately. So that's all for the Readers Problems book tag. If you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up and comment down below how long your books have been sitting on your shelves before you get to them, because I'm really curious, and I'm hoping I'm not the only one who actually let their books sit on the shelves for over a year before they get actually read, because I honestly feel bad for me. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post new bookish videos. I post new videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all the links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!